trying to ease fears. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Biden says he's taking action after two big bank failures over the past several days.
I'm going to ask Congress and the banking regulators to strengthen the rules for banks to make it less likely this kind of bank failure would happen again, and to protect American jobs and small businesses.
The FDIC has taken over Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank after they couldn't pay depositors. The president promised that depositors will get their money. This afternoon, the president met with the leaders of Australia and the United Kingdom, solidifying a defense partnership.
At Naval Base Point Loma in San Diego, the president charted the path forward in the AUKUS partnership's first project to provide nuclear submarines to the Australians. He wanted to be clear.
Nuclear power, not nuclear arm.
Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese noted the rarity of this.
The second time in history that the United States has shared its nuclear propulsion technology.
That British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak says aims at a high goal.
Keeping our oceans free, open and prosperous.
The construction of the first sub will begin this decade. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Rain and snow already slamming the Atlantic states and New England as forecasters say a nor'easter is on the way. New York Governor Kathy Hochul with some advice.
There's no reason in the world to have plans to be out tomorrow. Today is the day you get ready.
The storm could last into Wednesday. Forecasters say the storm could bring 1 to 2 feet of snow in some higher elevations. The 95th Academy Awards, which aired yesterday on ABC, was viewed by an estimated 18.7 million people. That's according to preliminary numbers released by the network. That's up 12% from last year's show, but still low compared with past ratings. America is listening to Fox News.
David in Pennsylvania writes in to tell us about his experience with Relief Factor. I tried Relief Factor for hip pain and was surprised that it also helped relieve my shoulder and foot discomfort. After taking it for a month, I stopped. And sure enough, the pain returned. So I started taking Relief Factor again, and within a week, the pain was relieved. I'm now taking Relief Factor daily. Well, thank you, David. You know, I've heard your story before. People stopping and then starting again because it works. As you all know, I had trouble with aches and pains, and climbing steps was brutal. Your first step to living the life you love, free from aches and pains, could just be to order the 3-week Quick Start for the highly discounted price of $19.95. After trying Relief Factor, over 500,000 people have gone on to order more. Try it for yourself and see what all these people are talking about. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF to find out more about this offer. That's 800-4RELIEF. Live your best life and feel the difference with Relief Factor.
Fairfax County, Virginia public schools are again under fire, this time over a question on a test.
The controversial question asked students in an AP government course to choose a, quote, accurate comparison of liberals versus conservatives. Then the choices are a bunch of stereotypical identities based on race, gender, sexuality, and age, such as young white males, middle-aged urban lesbian, Catholic Midwestern middle-aged male, and West Coast Hispanic teacher. In a statement to Fox News, the school system says, quote, Fairfax County Public Schools accepts that an AP government test question designed to assess 12th graders' understanding of American political ideology did not meet the division's high expectations.
Fox's Mike Emanuel. A New Hampshire man has been accused of putting 3 gunpowder-filled pipe bombs under his neighbor's porch. Police in Laconia say they were called to the woman's home on Sunday, where she showed a video of her neighbor putting something under her porch and gave them the package wrapped in tape. An officer opened the package, found a pipe with a fuse attached. The 53-year-old man faces 3 felony charges of possessing an explosive device. Federal health officials have expanded the recommendations for who should be getting screened for hepatitis B infection.
The CDC saying everyone over the age of 18 should be screened for hepatitis B at least once in their life. The CDC estimates between 580,000 to 2.4 million people are living with hep B infections in the United States, and that 2/3 of them may be unaware of their infection. Hepatitis B is spread through bodily fluid, and not all newly infected people have symptoms. Others might experience fatigue, poor appetite, stomach pain, and a yellowing of the skin or the eyes known as jaundice. The CDC says for most people, hepatitis B is a short-term illness, but for others, it can become a chronic long-term infection that can lead to issues like liver disease or liver cancer.
Fox's Gianna Gelosi. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
It's the Coach Ron O'Neill Show, presented by AJ's in the Alley. And now here's Devin Haney and Salina Liberty head coach, IFL Hall of Famer, Ron O'Neill.
Welcome in AJ's in the Alley. We're in downtown Salina. Every Monday we will have the Coach O Show, brought to you by AJ's, the original sports grill right here in the Alley, downtown Salina. You can't miss it. It's a big, big building full of lots of family fun right here at the Alley. And you want to come down because the Alley is putting things on the line this year. During every Coach O Show, we will have at least 4 of these, and that is a family value certificate with a value of $100. You want to come in? I heard maybe Coach O might be taking on challengers for laser tag later in the year.
I'm pretty good with that, so be careful.
So later in the year, you might be able to get Coach O on some laser tag. There's also, of course, sandwiches, wraps, salads. This is the home of the Superdome Pizza, a 29-inch pizza. I've seen several of those go down
Very much
on Monday
so.
nights during the Coach O Show. So you want to come down, join us in person. We also, later on when we talk to Coach O, we will have a Comfort Heating and Air question of the day where we will give away a pair of tickets for the best question of the day to the next home game. That next home game, of course, will be not until April 8th against the Billings Outlaws here at the Tony's Pizza Event Center. We'll talk about that. But first, we need to dig into what's been going on in the last week since we last talked to Coach Ron O'Neill. Happy Monday to you. How's Monday been to you?
Pretty rough coming off a loss. Had a lot of things to get adjusted. Had our team meeting today, and I think we set the tone of what we're trying to be and understanding with the game. It was a measuring stick game is the way I look at it. Early in the years, it's only week 2, so no playoff spots are been decided or anything like that. We learned a lot about our team, and it was good to share those different thoughts with our coaching staff and portray them to our players today. So it was a pretty good Monday for us.
Before we go into the game and how things developed in Sioux City, we'll go quarter by quarter on that and talk about the Sioux City game, especially since it was on the road and most people were watching on video or didn't have a chance to make that trip. What is Monday typically like for you? Not only after a loss, but after a win. How does Monday go? I know you travel back, you get home. Sunday is kind of a day where you guys still put your nose down, you still go to work. It's fresh in your minds. I've learned that about you. What does the Monday look like, though, when you reunite with the players?
Well, I mean, I'll rewind it back to Sunday. We got in probably about 5:40 a.m. I didn't go to sleep. I got right into recruiting, understanding what we need to bring in to make us a better football team. Also understanding, what just happened to us. It was a very tough football game. Take the emotion out of it. You have that 24-hour rule. So waking up this morning, understanding what we needed to get accomplished. Last night I understood that, yes, it is a bye week. I usually don't do anything on a bye week far as with the players. I still work on a bye week. Coach Martinez works on a bye week. But this year's a little different. We did have a meeting today. Most of the time on bye weeks, they're completely off, and that's what it was. But today we had guys that did go home. They were on FaceTime looking and understanding the meeting. We went through the film. We had a bunch of private meetings that we had to have with some of our players and letting them understand what the Salina Liberty way is and what our expectations are. Our expectations are to win every game. First round, throughout the playoffs, be the number 1 seed, to have home field throughout the playoffs and win a national championship. And I feel that, some of our veterans have forgotten that and we're living on what 2022 was. And that has nothing to do with 2023. So it was more, as Coach Martinez say, we got to get them right, get them tight, and get their mind right, so to say. So that's what we did today. Yeah. It was very interesting, and we got some guys that will be coming in and everything, but it was more getting their mind right, as Coach Martinez would say.
You hear it in professional sports all the time, and you just said something that triggered my brain a little bit. When you win that championship, it's so hard to come back and repeat. It's so hard to be back on that path because it is human nature a little bit for you to be satisfied and for you to maybe take that road that you haven't taken before, which may be the easier, non-productive path, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you get early on in the season? Do you feel like this bye week comes for you guys at a great time? I mean, you've had a chance to have 2 games, but the rush to get here is pretty bad. I mean, you are kind of rushing to get jerseys on people, get people on the roster. Okay, we got to go play a game. Now we got 2 games. Now you have a chance to kind of pause and step away. Do you like the timing of this bye week?
I love it. I mean, especially after a loss, we can sit back and reflect. We also can make the adjustments that's necessary to move forward with. Yes, it will be some new players coming in. The things that it helps us, it gives us more time to evaluate different situations that we had come up in this game.
Yeah.
Understanding that yes, we had probably about 8 to 10 players from last year's championship that played in that game. And some of the players that played in that game, we need some work. We definitely need some work. It was not exactly the way I thought it was going to be. And I think it was just like Coach Martin, it was an attitude adjustment. And I think with that loss, it helps us understand what we're trying to get accomplished. And last year's team is last year's team. I was part of the 2009, 2010 IFL championship teams, and we had the same issue in 2010. We won in 2009. In 2010, we lost some games that we shouldn't have lost, especially earlier on the road. And it was just people thinking that people were going to lay down for us. And what you did last year of stepping off that field and what you're doing now and making them understand that it's two different things. You either get better or worse. You're not the same. And I think today we made sure that everybody understood what we were talking about. Plays that were called were not executed in the manner in which we expect of them. I don't care if it's your first game. I don't care anything about that. If you step on that field, you need to be right, and you need to do it the way we tell you to do it. And if you don't, it showed. Sioux City is a good football team, a very proud organization, probably one of the best indoor football league organizations to ever exist. Bob Scott was a longtime owner there. I got a chance to talk with him earlier in that game. But you can't go in there just thinking people are going to lay down. And, yes, we went up 21-6 or whatever, but I think we took them for granted at that point. And at that point, we should have stayed on the gas. And the play calls were to stay on the gas, and we didn't execute them the way we needed to execute them.
Yeah, let's dig into this game a little bit. Of course, on the road at Sioux City, one of the probably the best places to play, honestly, for an indoor football game. The Tyson Event Center just kind of seems like it's built for indoor football. You guys come out in the first quarter, you get 2 touchdown passes to Demarius Washington. D-Wash goes on the board. You're up 14-6. You miss your first extra point, but you get a 2-point conversion on your second score. So at the end of one, you're setting there 14-6. And I can kind of see develop now what you're talking about, and that is coming out because your first couple of scores, they looked pretty easy from the outside looking in. I mean, D-Wash made great plays on a football that was well thrown, but still, they looked pretty easy. It wasn't drives where you guys had to string out a couple 3rd and 4th downs or anything like that. It was, here's the bombs, go get the ball, and then all of a sudden you have touchdowns on the board, right? Talk about how the game started.
Well, it started like exactly, you were 100% correct. Not to say it was easy, it was not easy, but we dialed up some different things of what we saw, and we knew if it executed correctly, we can get some big chunk plays, not knowing it'd be touchdown passes or anything like that, but we knew we could get chunk plays. But with that being said, I think at that point, everybody thought it was going to be easy. When you play a team that's coached by Irv as the head coach and coached by King Lobin, you got to understand those are very proud individuals, Hall of Fame coaches, and Hall of Fame players. I mean, they played there forever. So they're going to keep their team in the game, and they're going to understand what it takes to make the adjustments. They made the adjustments. But, yes, we knew what we needed to do to execute, and we were executing at a very high clip. So I could see where all the confidence came from.
14-6 at the end of the first quarter. Second quarter, you get the first score. You go up 21-6. Get the extra point after that. I believe that was a Tracy Brooks touchdown run. And then all of a sudden, a couple of scores there by Sioux City and probably a couple of missed opportunities for you before halftime. Talk about the second half from that 21-6 lead to now being tied at halftime, 21-21. What happened there in those few minutes?
Well, basically what really happened is we were not executing offensively. We didn't do the things in which we needed to do to score. We were not making the plays that we needed to make, not running the play the way it needed to be run, not executing in the technique in which we have them learn and understand going into each game. And when that happened, Sioux City is a good football team. I'm not going to sit here and lie about that. And then they have a great defensive front, and they got great DBs. They got a great quarterback, great offense. It's a great team. Caught their little second win, and they made plays on us, and they were executing at a very high rate. And now we're tied going into halftime. So I just wish they would understand what we were trying to get accomplished. They understand now, but at that point they didn't understand, and they thought it would be easy, and it wasn't easy because they're a very proud franchise. And understanding now what they need to know, and maybe I didn't do a good enough job of reiterating those points when we were scoring earlier on, to make them understand, like, this is going to be a dogfight all the way through, no matter what. When you go down and play in Sioux City, it's never over. Right. Those guys are going to play loud and proud, and they're going to play with a high intensity level. They go with the same exuberance of their coaches. So I knew it was not over at that point. I think I probably should have stepped up a little bit more as a coach and made that known a little bit better than what I did. So I put that on me.
That brings us to halftime. Entering the third quarter, the game is tied. When we come back after our first break, we will go through the second half. There was a lot of things that happened. Third quarter was kind of stable, but then the fourth quarter, it went crazy. And we'll talk about all that when we come back. We are here at AJ's in the Alley, downtown Salina. Come join us once. It's the Coach Ron O'Neill Show, and it's brought to you by the Alley and AJ's. Inside the Alley, it's the original sports grill here on KINA, and also live stream video on SalinaPost.com.
Steve Z's Cars on the west side of Abilene. Yeah, Abilene Car Sales is the place that will save you lots of money.
Wintertime is four-wheel drive and all-wheel drive time. Make sure you have a car, truck, or SUV that navigates those roads safely from Abilene Car Sales. If we don't have it on our lots, we will find it for you. With in-house financing and a 100-point check system, you can't go wrong. Come see us on the west side of Abilene or at AbileneCarsales.com.
It's spring cleaning time, and that means you should add one more little thing to your to-do list. Call Comfort Heating and Air for an HVAC clean and check. Our technicians will make sure your system is in tip-top shape, so when warm weather arrives, your AC will be ready. That means cleaning your coils, checking Freon levels, double-checking all electrical connections for safety, even changing your filters. With locations in Salina and Clay Center, we are the company that cares. Comfort Heating and Air.
You can rely on the company that cares. We're Comfort Heating and Air.
Think about the word precision. Precision is being exact and accurate. Isn't that what you want when it comes to electrical? Precision Electric in Salina brings exact and accurate quality to electrical jobs in central Kansas since 2003. Precision Electric's focus on quality and performance, combined with their experience and dedication, creates a winning set of finished products which saves their customers money. Precision Electrical Contractors is looking for licensed journeyman electricians as well as apprentice electricians. Apply online at pecsalina.com.
Spring cleaning time! A wonderful time of the year. Winter is over and hope springs eternal. You have the windows open. The birds are singing and you can't help but notice that smell. That awful smell. What is that? That is your septic system backing up into your home, making spring flowers smell, well, like a friendly reminder from Salina Septic Service. If you haven't had your septic system pumped out and cleaned in the last 3 years, you are asking for trouble. Salina Septic Service. You better call today.
For over 30 years, Ryan Roofing has been the area's leader in commercial roofing installation. Over 10 million square feet of Duralast roofing. Now, Ryan Roofing is expanding their expertise to the residential properties to better serve you and your home. Shingles, windows, siding, and gutters. Call Ryan Roofing in Salina today for a free roof assessment and get the expert advice you need. Ryan Roofing, serving commercial businesses in the area for over 30 years and now working for you on your residential property.
When does normal acute pain become abnormal chronic pain? Chronic pain can be one of two types, nociceptive and neuropathic. Each type differs based on what causes it, what it feels like, and what treatments may relieve it. Neuropathic pain can often be managed by a therapy called neurostimulation or spinal cord stimulation. If you suffer from chronic pain, ask your primary care physician for a referral to the Salina Pain Clinic. Our pain specialist will discuss the right options to manage your pain. Online at salinapainclinic.org.
And now back to the Coach O Show with Devin Haney and Coach Ron O'Neill.
Welcome back to AJ's in the Alley. Devin Haney along with first ballot Hall of Famer Ron O'Neill. We're going through the game in Sioux City on Saturday. Coming up, we'll have our Comfort Heating and Air question of the day. Coach O Show is brought to you by St. John's Military Museum, Brooks Liquor, the Salina Pain Clinic, and also, of course, Comfort Heating and Air. So we hit halftime. Game is tied. Your thoughts at halftime and kind of what you've seen. You've already kind of gone through step-by-step of some things that you were seeing early on. A chance to address those at halftime or no? How did halftime go for you?
Well, it was kind of mild. Just trying to get a read on our players moving into halftime. This is a new team. This is not the same team that walked off the championship field in 2022. Just trying to see how our leaders led, trying to see how our younger guys reacted to it. It was a longer, extended halftime, so we did have a little bit more time to meet as a coaching staff, make some different adjustments, as well as understand what they were trying to do with us and try to think of the next thing they were trying to do as well, was what we really focused more on. Went into the locker room, addressed the team for a very short time because it was really not much to address. It was more so about, like I always say, it's about what we're doing and what we're not doing. Just trying to get them to understand and play with the fundamentals in which we taught them, play the play within the play. We always say that. And looking for our leaders to stand up, and this is a game. We need our leaders to step up and make the biggest plays of the game. So that's pretty much what we came into the locker room and preach to our ball players, but it was more so time for our coaches to get together and understand and strategize.
Yeah, as we mentioned, the third quarter kind of seemed to stabilize a little bit this game. You do come out of the third quarter trailing by 3. Then we go into the fourth quarter, and with under a minute left to go, you were able to get back on top 33-30. And then with about 14 seconds left, Sioux City comes right back, and they get another one of those 9-point conversions. They score the touchdown. They go for 3. Sioux City kind of seemed like they had their mind made up coming into this game that was their strategy. They were going to go for that 3-point play after their touchdowns. They were successful a couple of times. You and I talked about that last week and how that could change the game. It could change your strategy, definitely. And Sioux City was able to get a couple of those on you, weren't they?
Well, not just Sioux City. If you take it back to Topeka, Topeka was able to get some on us as well. So defensively, we're not playing good football right now. You look at 45 points given up, 40 points given up against Sioux City, and nothing against those two teams. They're great football teams, and like I said, Topeka's going to be a lot better than what they were last year. Sioux City is exactly what we thought they were. I mean, they're a championship contending team. Yeah. Not to say Topeka isn't, but I'm just saying you can see they have a lot of veteran ball players. They're the most veteran football team in the whole league, and they've been that for the past 5 years. Those guys have played together. They've been through all the wars. Our players haven't. Not to make an excuse. We had 10 players that are vets that's played together, and everybody else are brand new. So these first 3 to 4 games, everybody is kind of understanding and learning their roles. And we knew that going in with the type team that we have. They made big plays when it was time to make big plays. That's why they were able to pull the game out in the end. But we had our opportunities. And with those opportunities, we didn't take heed. Anytime you have 4 turnovers in a game where you get the ball directly, not half stops where they're kicking field goals and that type nature, we have 4 turnovers. You're supposed to win the game by 21 points. And for us to lose a game lets you know how great their defense played as well. And my hat is definitely tipped to King Loban and what he did defensively. But those guys that were at the meeting today, and those ones that were on the call, the FaceTime call, know what we need to do. And I'll keep that in-house. But I got to give all respect to Sioux City that made the plays when it was time to make the plays, and they deserve to win the ball game.
Yeah, this thing ends up going into overtime. You guys actually score with 3 seconds left in regulation. Demarius Washington again with a big catch. The extra point misses. That remains, leaving the score at 39-39. And I always have to ask you, because you're always incredibly real with me. You see the comments, hear the comments, and some of it is, well, Salina needs a kicker. This is 2 games now, different guy kicking each game. They need a kicker. They would have won that game. I'm always a big believer you can't peg one single play on a win or a loss. You got a whole body of work there that you can go through. We've already done it, picking through the game of things that needed to happen along the way. So to sit there and say that one final extra point miss cost you the game, I think is unfair.
Very unfair.
And I want your opinion on that.
It's very unfair. One play does not decide any football game. I'll take it back to you with about 1:14 left to go, 3rd and 1. We didn't get it.
Yep.
We go for it on 4th and 1. we jump off sides. 4th and 10 now, don't get it. What about those 3 plays? I think those 3 plays, if you pick up a first down there, who knows what would have happened right there. So it's a lot of different things that every game it comes down to maybe about 6 to 7 ball plays that if you hit them, you get them, you don't. That's what it came down to. One play does not decide a football game. And anybody that has any sense and know anything about football, you got to, like the Tuesday evening quarterbacks, I let them talk. I let them say what they need to say and all of that. But I know football. I may not know much else, but I know football, and one play does not decide a football game.
Well, and I felt comfortable asking that question because, as I said, we've always been pretty honest with each other, but you just also got done telling me you had 4 takeaways in this game. You tell me that's a 21-point advantage in your head. That's not an extra point.
Exactly. So that lets you know where the pendulum actually lies.
Yeah.
Offensively, we did not play the game that we needed to play to win. We did not deserve to win, and the football guys are going to tell you we lost. We did not play well enough offensively. We didn't play well defensively either, but we played well enough to win. So not to cause any decisiveness or anything like that, our offense know what they need to do moving forward and how they're going to be held accountable as well. We need to score with the type of offense we have. We need to score, every time we have the football. That's the type of talent we have on that side of the ball. So to get stopped at a period of a game where we went 4 drives and only score on 3 of the 4 drives, let's look at all those, probably about 20-some-odd plays right there. That's what lost the game. It had nothing to do with the end of the game, missed extra point or whatever. That has nothing to do with why we won or lost that game. It was all those plays in between of those 4 drives right there.
Sitting down at 1-1, it sounds like, from what you're telling me, this is a good time for reckoning for this team.
Yes.
And just take the bye week, use it to your advantage, then go ahead and finish out this road swing. You're in the middle of a 3-game road swing. So even without the bye, you go through, you take that this coming weekend. You still have 2 more road trips that you have to go to Topeka next Saturday, which is the 25th of March. Then the following Saturday, you have one of your longest road trips to Rapid City. So 2 big road trips on the shelf before you come back home to play Billings on April 8th. So there's still work to be done on this road trip here early on. You're using these 2 weeks, it sounds like, to kind of, as you said with Coach Martinez, get things right and adjust and things like that. Roster-wise, where do you feel like this team is at right now? It sounds like you think there's a couple of holes. I know with you, you're always looking at players, you're looking at movement. You're never really satisfied with the roster that you have. You're always looking, which I think is a good thing. Where are you at right now? Where do you feel like with this roster? What are the needs, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I won't say the needs because that would give a direct, for other teams to kind of attack. But I think it's in the infant stages of where we are with this roster. We have a lot of different needs and wants, but you got to see what's available and not bring anything in here that you don't think can compete or, if not, take a spot. With the IFL doing their cuts here in the next week or so, the NAL starting up in another week or so, we're looking at those rosters as well. So, like my dad always says, competition, the cream will always rise to the top. And you can bring as much competition as you want to bring in. If you don't want them to be here, you perform at a certain level and your job's not on the line. But everybody understands that you could be a veteran rookie or a perennial all-star. If you're not performing at the level in which we think you are, it will be a player there standing there that next week or the week after to compete for that spot. So I think we're just in the infant stages. We're only 2 games in. We had a very short training camp.
Yeah.
So we're still evaluating our own team. One more game of doing that and then, kind of seeing what's out there and see what we could do to bring them in.
League-wide, when you look around, I know people are looking at your roster, they're looking at your games, you're the defending champion. We know where the target is this year, definitely. When you look around now, obviously Sioux City, they are up there. They're always going to be in the top 3 conversation, right? Who else has played well that you've had a chance to check out or maybe even heard about this year? Are you even worried about that right now, or is it all in-house?
Well, I mean, I'll be lying if I say I haven't looked at every single game played in this league. That's my job, so I have to look at that. Omaha was very impressive. Armstrong at quarterback was very, very impressive. That defense that they had down there in Omaha is very impressive. I'm very impressed with Coach Kaiser and what he brings to what they do as the head coach there. I like what they're doing there. I'm looking at Wyoming. I think they're going to be much improved. They're 2-0. They're playing some good football down there. The coach out there, Coach Sid, is doing his thing. He's a Arena Football League legend that they have down there. So that's going to be a tough out, as well as Topeka. I know I keep saying Topeka, but that quarterback they have, those receivers that they have, that offensive line that they have OJ as their offensive coordinator. The head coach is doing his thing on defense. That's another team that I'm looking at that are definitely doing their thing. Billings, I'm pretty sure they're going to making some adjustments and things of that nature. They have a great coaching staff there. So it's a lot of good football teams there. Rapid City was up 12-0 against Sioux City just this very last week against them at Sioux City. So they're much improved. So I don't think it's going to be any team that's going to go with 0 wins on the season. I think parity has now hit the CIF, and any team can be knocked off by any team, which is great for the league. It's great for those fans that hadn't had much success with different teams. Now they have made those curves. The learning curve is there, and they got great players there, and I think it's going to be a great football season for the whole CIF, and I can't wait to continue to go on with it. Yeah,
it just has that feel, right? Like nobody's going to run away with it. Nobody's going to be that top dog. I think we're going to shuffle through all year long, and that's exciting for the fans, definitely. As you said, Topeka is the next team on your schedule. That's March 25th at the Stormont Vale Event Center in Topeka. It's a great little road trip down I-70, right? I mean, you got 2 weeks to prepare for it. Let's get red, white, and blue in those stands. You have a bye week this week to get ready for it. Pack a cooler, hit I-70, and go to Topeka on the 25th and watch the Liberty and the Topeka Tropics. As you said, that's a much-improved team, and I think that's going to be a great game for us coming up on March 25th. Now your Comfort Heating Air question of the day. Coach Haran O'Neal, this comes from Steve in Salina. Steve wants to know, was it your plan to play 2 quarterbacks in the game on Saturday, or was it something that happened due to injury or strategy throughout the game?
I would basically just say I go with my gut feel. So I never go into a game saying I'm going to play this guy, that guy, or any guy. Play by play, series by series, I always go with my gut. And my gut said it was time to go with a different quarterback at that particular time. And I think we said that was the right move because he got us all the way to the point of actually within the extra point of winning the ball game. So I always go with my gut. I mean, moving forward, not sure where we're going to go with this. Yeah. Healthy competition breeds the best of everybody. Like I always say, the cream always rises to the top. So I'm looking forward to seeing, what quarterback does what and how they react to it. It tells a lot about their character and their intestinal fortitude. So to give it a little, a little nudge there, a little quarterback controversy, I'm all for it.
And fortunate to have 2 quarterbacks active on the roster, too. So I've seen this pattern from you before. This is familiar to me, so I'm going to take a note on that. I will add on to the Comfort Heating Air question of the day, and I will say, as I did last year, NCAA tournament starts this week. Who's your pick? I always got to put the pressure on you.
See, this is the thing. Coach Martinez and I were talking about it today. Coach Flax, he was running around town getting his other Salina Liberty business done.
He's our in-house basketball expert, right?
So we have our pool. So I got to talk with Coach Flax after this and see if we're still doing it. I don't want to give it away yet because we have not filled out the brackets, and I think somebody over here to the right of me may be just listening a little too hard, so I don't want him to understand what I'm trying to do.
We'll definitely follow up on that then. Have a good bye week, sir. We will talk to you soon. That's head coach Haran O'Neal, the first ballot Hall of Famer. We're at AJ's in the Alley, downtown Salina. When we come back, we will get the guy that's listening in on Coach O'Neal's pick for the NCAA tournament. Jorge Martinez. We'll talk to the coach when we come back. Here's another break. We are downtown Salina at AJ's in the Alley. You can listen live on KINA and also watch live stream video on SalinaPost.com.
Regional's Orthopedic and Sports Medicine is your home field advantage. Our physicians include sports medicine physician Dr. Matthew Pyle, along with orthopedic surgeons Drs. Travis Rump and Todd Riley, plus an A-team of certified athletic trainers and physical therapists. We're ready when you need us to help prevent injuries, enhance performance, or to heal through surgery and rehabilitation. For area athletes to weekend warriors, the home field advantage starts at Salina Regional Orthopedic and Sports Medicine.
When pests have become too much, it's time to call Hassman Termite and Pest Control. With staff having over 150 years of combined experience, we offer all services for structural pests: termites, ants, roaches, spiders, crickets, mice, and bed bugs. In our 60th year of our family serving yours, give us a call or visit us on the web at hassmantermite.com or see us on Facebook.
There's no better feeling than leaving the racetrack with a win, unless you are leaving the car lot with a great deal. That's how it feels to buy a vehicle at SalinaUsedCars.com. Dozens of late model vehicles that have been fully inspected and are backed by warranty. Cash accepted or financing for all credit levels. Whether you need a car, truck, SUV, crossover, or a van, SalinaUsedCars.com has them all. Get the winning feeling of a great deal at one of 2 locations or shop 24/7 at SalinaUsedCars.com.
It's spring cleaning time, and that means you should add one more little thing to your to-do list. Call Comfort Heating and Air for an HVAC clean and check. Our technicians will make sure your system is in tip-top shape, so when warm weather arrives, your AC will be ready. That means cleaning your coils, checking Freon levels, double-checking all electrical connections for safety, even changing your filters. With locations in Salina and Clay Center, we are the company that cares. Comfort Heating and Air.
You can rely on the company that cares. We're Comfort Heating and Air.
When you hire Street Plumbing, Heating, and Electric in Salina and Lincoln, you'll be making a great decision. Providing full-service plumbing and HVAC, they have the knowledge and skills to get the job done right the first time. They work with you throughout the project to ensure you get the personalized service you deserve from licensed and insured technicians. Excellent customer service in Central Kansas since 1985. The experienced team will clean the premises once the job is done. Street Plumbing, Heating, and Electric. Know them better at streetphe.com.
Spring cleaning time! A wonderful time of the year. Winter is over and hope springs eternal. You have the windows open. The birds are singing and you can't help but notice that smell. That awful smell. What is that? That is your septic system backing up into your home, making spring flowers smell, well, like a friendly reminder from Salina Septic Service. If you haven't had your septic system pumped out and cleaned in the last 3 years, you are asking for trouble. Salina Septic Service. You better call today.
And now back to the Coach O Show at AJ's in the Alley. Here's Devin Haney.
Back here with segment number 2, it is Jorge Martinez along with me. My name is Devin Haney. We are looking ahead to the next game against Topeka coming up on March 25th. A lot of time, though, between now and then. Also want to remind you the next home game for the Salina Liberty comes up on April 8th. They will play the Billings Outlaws here at Tony's Pizza Event Center. You can get your tickets anytime online at Tony'sPizzaEventCenter.com, or you can go walk up to the box office during regular business hours, select your seat. Kids' tickets start at $7. Adult tickets start at $12. Why not, huh? Pack the arena, the Outlaws, and the Liberty. That's a special game for Coach O, isn't it?
Absolutely. When they come down here, him being from and winning 3 national championships in that city, and just the history of what he did there, not just him winning the championships, of the people that he's elevated to other leagues and all that, of what he has done, and the legacy that he has represented. What they also did, Devin, is we played against them in the IFL in Colorado, but they were defunct for a couple of years, and then they came back and changed their names. But what Billings did to help them is get the name back of the Outlaws.
Yeah. Great. I mean, it was a great thing. I think we were all pretty happy when they came back through, and of course they will be visiting us coming up on April 8th, so get your tickets now. And that's the first of 4 straight home games here at Tony's Pizza Event Center. So we're not going to have to go far in the month of April, my friend. We're going to be staying right here at home.
That's going to be a nice stretch for us. Not only are you home, but you get the whole community involved. Don't have to go anywhere. Don't have to watch. You can just come down to Tony's Pizza Event Center and see it happen.
What's Monday like for you after a game? Win or lose? Not necessarily today, because we kind of talked about that with Coach O, but what is your Monday like when you roll out of a game, especially on the road, and you're kind of starting to put the pieces together for the next adventure?
Monday is just be prepared for the meetings, for the setting, for everything that we have to do, because Monday's a very busy day. It's not Monday, Devin, it's Sunday after the game. Sunday you prepare, because when you do this, and during the other side of it, or when we get farther in the season, as being the assistant head coach, I prepare 3 games. So it's just not the one that you're seeing. You prepare 3 other games. So then you go ahead and dissect those other 3 games and have a report ready for Coach O'Neill so he can go see what I have seen on those previous 3 games. So it's not the Monday, it's that Sunday or the week prior to it going in. So now that the season is getting going, there's games I'll watch during the week that they've already previously played and break them down so it's ready for Sunday. But as well as still watch film, and one of the things that people don't, I mean, you're talking at least 22 to 25 hours of just film a week.
Yeah.
Once this season now is progressing of how much film you watch and data that you got to take down, because going back on Monday, so when I walk in on Monday morning after weights, because we do have weights and at 11 o'clock on Monday, throw that on my boss's desk and then make sure that I have fact with it, because of course, as any boss is going to do, you're going to be questioned on what is this or what did you see. But the nice thing about it, we watch the same film, so he'll just make sure that it's fact and not where is this from. And I says, and then when I draw it up on the board, he'll go, yeah, you're right. They did do that.
It's the beautiful thing about brains, right? Because you get in that opportunity, you have a chance to put different opinions and different strategies together, and you have a chance as a group to kind of decide on the direction you want to go. And when you get to that point, and that's the chemistry I've always seen that you and Coach O have, that's when it really becomes a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. After we get done with the breakdown of it, and then we put the game plan together, he goes, what plays do you have after we do put our basic game plan or things that you think that we could go against them and be successful at it? I put it up on the board. And the one thing, I can't tell everybody these secrets over the airlines, over the air, but you just got to make sure that the one thing that we do is we never ever talk opinion. Opinion is for those.
Yeah, I got you.
Come with fact. Come with fact of who you're going to go against and what you can do with it and how you think it's going to happen, because that's how me and Coach O'Neill work.
So knowing how much film you get into and knowing how you look at each and every team, Coach O and I just talked in the last segment about how this may be one of those years that parity is a revolving door in this league, and we don't know who the best team is. We don't know who the worst team is. You know, sometimes it seems like, man, you got this bracket up here. This team is the one that we're all chasing, or this team down here is the team that's a give-me win. I don't think we have that this year, do we?
Not at all. And Coach O'Neill and I have just talked about it for about a month, or even before we played them, is what Topeka has done with their development of their team. Rapid City developed it. Guarantee that Billings, with the ownership group and the drive that they have, they're going to change their team. And then we just faced what, and I didn't want to say it over the air last week, Devin, but the experts picked them number 1 and us 2. And bless their hearts, right now they're right.
Yeah. Sioux City, we know, is always going to be a tough out. No matter where you play them, it seems like they travel almost better than what they do playing at home. I mean, they are a good road team as well. So you can't say, well, we'll get them at home, because it's not an automatic, and that's not a given either.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about personnel. We talked about shaping the roster, always a work in progress, things like that. Last year, Coach O and I talked about these new leagues popping up, whether it's the XFL, the IFL, whatever league you're in, there are more chances for guys to play football now than ever before. What kind of challenges does that bring to you in trying to get guys here to Salina to be part of the Liberty?
One of them is the new athletes that are coming out of college. And 5 years ago, yes, they would jump at us at the IFL. And then when we were now in the CFL, and with the production that Coach O'Neill does with these new athletes, easy. Come on down, come and play with us. Now these athletes, and bless their hearts, and they're very good athletes. They're very good and talented. They have these opportunities of outdoor football with the XFL and the USFL and those aspirations of playing in there, and which is great because that's a closer thing for them to get to the NFL or the Canadian Football League. So it's a waiting process for us. The IFL, they've lifted their league just a little bit closer to these other leagues, so we wait on them as well because they can go ahead and take these athletes that we had 5 years ago that would just come here. So no, am I mad? Absolutely not. But can I compete with them? Yes. And can I compete with them even recruiting them? And I have had athletes that are on our roster who wanted to go to these other organizations and leagues, and with their agents and their family and all that, have seen that if they do have an opportunity and do want to come here, there is an avenue just as quick with what Coach O'Neill has put up. As you know, Coach O'Neill has put up, 64 people.
Unreal.
Yes, yeah. From where he's done. And he is a Hall of Fame coach. So we can bring him down here, get positive game field in Salina, Kansas, and still promote him to another league. And we've done that. The 5 years that we played, we moved up 4 from here.
Yeah. It's always fascinating to watch you guys work and kind of look at players and see the roster. Thursday night, Friday morning is always one of my favorite times of the week because I get the roster from the GM, Francis Flax, and I get to go through and see the changes and see the comparison. And I know it's a full-time job for you guys, and it's just I love our time together. I love talking about things like that. And
I do too.
Continue luck, my friend. We'll continue on, right? 2 games down.
And I miss you, and it's good to be back with you.
I'll be back in the chair. I'll be back in the chair. When we go to Topeka on March 25th to take on the Topeka Tropics, we will see you then. That's Jorge Martinez. He is the assistant head coach of the Salina Liberty. When we come back in our final segment, we will talk to Francis Flax. He is the GM of the team, and we'll get another direction and another vision from the team, or on the team, from Francis Flax when we come back at AJ's in the Alley in downtown Salina. We continue on with the Coach Ron O'Neill Show here on KINA and Salina Post.
Abnormal chronic pain. Chronic pain can be one of 2 types, nociceptive and neuropathic. Each type differs based on what causes it, what it feels like, and what treatments may relieve it. Neuropathic pain can often be managed by a therapy called neurostimulation or spinal cord stimulation. If you suffer from chronic pain, ask your primary care physician for a referral to the Salina Pain Clinic. Our pain specialist will discuss the right options to manage your pain. Online at salinapainclinic.org.
All right, here we go. Steve Z's Cars on the west side of Abilene. Yeah, Abilene Car Sales is the place that will save you lots of money.
Wintertime is 4-wheel drive and all-wheel drive time. Make sure you have a car, truck, or SUV that navigates those roads safely from Abilene Car Sales. If we don't have it on our lot, we will find it for you. With in-house financing and a 100-point check system, you can't go wrong. Come see us on the west side of Abilene or at AbileneCarsales.com.
For over 30 years, Ryan Roofing has been the area's leader in commercial roofing installation. Over 10 million square feet of Durolast roofing. Now, Ryan Roofing is expanding their expertise to the residential properties to better serve you and your home. Shingles, windows, siding, and gutters. Call Ryan Roofing in Salina today for a free roof assessment and get the expert advice you need. Ryan Roofing, serving commercial businesses in the area for over 30 years and now working for you on your residential property.
When pests have become too much, it's time to call Hassman Termite and Pest Control. With staff having over 150 years of combined experience, we offer all services for structural pests: termites, ants, roaches, spiders, crickets, mice, and bed bugs. In our 60th year of our family serving yours, give us a call or visit us on the web at hassmantermite.com or see us on Facebook.
There's no better feeling than leaving the racetrack with a win, unless you are leaving the car lot with a great deal. That's how it feels to buy a vehicle at SalinaUsedCars.com. Dozens of late model vehicles that have been fully inspected and are backed by warranty. Cash accepted or financing for all credit levels. Whether you need a car, truck, SUV, crossover, or a van, SalinaUsedCars.com has them all. Get the winning feeling of a great deal at one of 2 locations or shop 24/7 at SalinaUsedCars.com.
Salina Regional's Orthopedic and Sports Medicine is your home field advantage. Our physicians include sports medicine physician Dr. Matthew Pyle, along with orthopedic surgeons Drs. Travis Rump and Todd Riley, plus an A-team of certified athletic trainers and physical therapists. We're ready when you need us to help prevent injuries, enhance performance, or to heal through surgery and rehabilitation. For area athletes to weekend warriors, the home field advantage starts at Salina Regional Orthopedic and Sports Medicine.
And now back to the Coach O Show at AJ's in the Alley. Here's Devin Haney.
We are at AJ's in the Alley, downtown Salina. It's where we will do the Coach O Show pretty much every Monday. You can see the schedule on the Salina Liberty Facebook page as we will talk about a victory, a loss, the games coming up, all kinds of stuff. And right now we will talk to the GM of the team. It's Francis Flax. And Coach Flax and I have been moonlighting as basketball announcers here in the state of Kansas. We've kind of missed the first two Liberty games, haven't we? We've been in one spot doing our basketball thing, and here in the other spot, we have the Liberty season off to a good start.
I'm not used to watching the Liberty on YouTube.
No.
You know, I'm used to watching it right up front, right front of everybody, and so far it hasn't happened.
It's been a little different. Now we get a bye week this week to kind of get our thoughts together before we go to Topeka on March 25th. Just want to talk to you about the Liberty season. I always enjoy sitting and talking to you because we get to talk to somebody that is definitely vested in the team, but you're not part of the ownership group. You're not part of the coaching staff. You are kind of the umbrella that covers it all, so to speak. And your job is a unique one because a lot of people come to you for a lot of things, don't they?
Yeah, they do, and, you know, I embrace that. I have a great relationship with Coach O'Neill, Coach Martinez. We butt heads, don't get me wrong. We butt heads. I have a great rapport with the ownership group, and they have given me the liberty to be the spokesman for the Salina Liberty. I'm on every conference call with the league. I make a lot of decisions without their approval or disapproval, and it's just a marriage, I think, that is good for all aspects of our organization.
When you talk about Coach O and Coach Martinez, we just got in talking to them. How fortunate are we to have those guys here in Salina? I mean, it's a big deal that we have them, isn't it?
Well, it is, and no disrespect to any of the other organizations, Devin. Our coaches act professional, they dress professional, they conduct themselves in a professional manner, and they're darn good coaches. So that being said, I don't know what it's going to take, and because we've got a limit in salary that we can pay coaches, but we've got to somehow come up with a solution to keep this coaching staff intact.
Absolutely. I think that is square number one. And when you do that, you talk about the ownership group as well, too. And I think anytime I talk to Coach O about the ownership group, he tells me that is the reason he is here. He is a big believer in the way that business has been done with the Liberty. He's a big believer in the people that are, so to speak, behind the pay window here with this team and what they are willing to do to bring in a successful team, first and foremost for the city of Salina. That's why they're doing this, and it's one of those things that he is a big believer in the ownership as much as they are him.
Yeah, well, let's start like this. Professional sports or semi-professional sports normally are not a money-making endeavor.
Right.
You do it because you want to give back to your community. I know for a fact where this organization was, and I can tell you right now where it is. I won't, but I could tell you.
That's a whole different show.
It has progressed immensely. I know that these guys were tired of getting their checkbooks out in the end of June every year and keeping this ship afloat. And we have turned this around. Now, we're not a money-making organization, but right now, these guys don't have to get their checkbooks out at the end of the year because we're solvent.
Yeah. And I think people may, from the outside looking in, they may think a team like the Liberty, you go through, you have a great year, you win a championship, everything's rainbows and unicorns, but it actually costs you to go through that process of winning, doesn't it? Winning's expensive.
winning is very expensive. You know, it doesn't make any difference how many people are in the stand. Well, it does make a difference, but how many people are in the stands, how many owners we have, how many fans we have, all that stuff is irrelevant because you don't know. The costs keep going up every year and every year. Well, we're in a town of 48,000 people. We've almost maxed it out. And I don't know how much longer that we can carry on at this rate and still give everybody their due in incentives.
And the greatest help you can have is through sponsors and also through fans who come up and buy tickets every game at Saturday. We just talked about off the air how crazy our schedule is this year because 2 games on the road after you open at home. So you go from that first home game on the first Saturday of March, you're going to fast forward a full 30 days before you're back at home again. It's almost like you had a little teaser to the season, and then the whole month of April you're going to be at home. That's a crucial stretch for this team, not only on the field and on the scoreboard, but also in ticket sales, isn't it?
Yeah, we have to have ticket sales. Now, I can tell you this, between our presidential area, our party pit area, and the tickets that we've sold to our sponsors as an ownership group, has nothing to do with the TPEC. We have 877 tickets out there for every game. Now, that doesn't count our loyal fans that have bought season tickets or those that walk up to the window and buy tickets every game. So we've got it going in that aspect. Now, what we have to do is figure out how we can get some group ticket sales to boost our attendance, even by 150, 200 a game. That make a huge difference.
Yeah, and there's so much room to grow. Just put in perspective what you just said. You have a good base going of those premium ticket sales that are about 800 every game. I believe with the football setup at Tony's Pizza Event Center, the capacity is about 5,500 people. So there is a lot of room to grow, and there's a lot of seats to be filled, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. And it's amazing. You know, sometimes we have talked to the event center about putting sheets on the upper row. But, you know, if you watch the people that come into the game first, we have a group that want to go to the very top of the arena. So how do you combat that? You don't. You just and unfortunately, you know, I hear teams that we've sold out, we've sold this many tickets, we've sold that many tickets. But you know what? Look in their stands. Their stands look like our stands. And we have we have a lot of empty seats, but so does almost everybody else.
And I don't think we've seen it. We've seen great crowds. The championship run with the United States Marines was some of those crowds that I remember. If you get Tony's Pizza Event Center halfway full, I don't think there's a better arena and a louder arena in the league. There's no fake sound being piped in. There's no loud stereos being piped in that'll make your ears bleed. It is a genuine great sports atmosphere.
That's why you got to throw it out to our loyal fans, our loyal walk-ups every game. Those are the people that make us go, yes, we love our sponsors, and without them we couldn't do this. But it's the other people that put the icing on the cake.
Absolutely. We encourage you to buy tickets for that stretch in April coming up. All the home games in the month of April here at Tony's Pizza Event Center. You can do it several different ways. You can call in to Tony's Pizza Event Center. You can also get them online at Tony'sPizzaEventCenter.com where you can select your seat. You can also select your seat by walking up to the window. Also, you avoid ticket fees when you go up to the window, buy them in person. You can do that during regular business hours at Tony's Pizza Event Center. Got a last minute. Any last words for you today?
Well, the only thing I say is the NCAA Final 64 is starting here tomorrow. I don't know who you should pick. I was hoping for KU, but I got a feeling that there's some teams out there that are out for the blood of this tournament. This is a well-balanced tournament.
It should be a great basketball tournament, and what better place to watch it than at AJ's in the Alley, downtown Salina. You can come in early lunch. Of course, most days basketball begins at 11 o'clock. They have a couple of big screens. They have little screens. No matter where you sit, you're going to find a prime spot here at AJ's in the Alley, downtown Salina. So come and enjoy your NCAA tournament madness here. They have great pizzas. They have sandwiches, wraps, salads, all kinds of things, and it is the home of the Coach Ron O'Neill Show. Again, a bye week coming up this week, the next action for the Salina Liberty will be March 25th in Topeka against the Tropics. It is a short trip down I-70. We encourage you to be there. You can also catch the game right here on KINA. Another Coach Ron O'Neill show is in the books. We'll talk to you next time here from AJ's in the Alley in downtown Salina.